Welcome to the Animation Station Podcast, episode 90. My name is Josh, and today I'm joined by a very special guest, Mr. Ezra. Ezra, now, I should have gotten your name before we started. Is it Weisz?
Yep, you got it right,
Perfect.
Josh. You did it perfect.
Look at that. My German's paying off.
Yep.
That whole semester I took, it's all coming together now.
Yes, I have a Z in my name, and some people go Weisz or Weisz, but there's no T. The Z is silent. We just go with a double S sound like Weisz, and it's Hungarian in origin.
Ah, gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. So now, Ezra, just to give everybody a little bit of a background, you are a voice actor and voice director.
That is right. Although, if we're going to be putting it in order, my career over the past, I would say 5 years or so, has shifted to being voice director and voice actor.
Ah, okay. And we're actually going to talk about that here in just a few. But first off, I was catching your stream that you did on Instagram about 30 or so minutes ago.
Yeah.
And I've got to say one thing. Out of all of the voice actors and celebrities that I've seen and watched and talked with over, my time, you're probably the most involved with your fans that I have ever seen.
Really?
Yes. Like, you are on top of it. And I think that is incredibly cool.
I love to be engaging with all of these wonderful people. I don't like to use the term fans personally because it makes me feel weird, because I wouldn't like to think of them as fans. I like to think that we're all really all enthusiastic on similar stuff. I love that they are so passionate about certain projects that I have worked on or I'm currently working on, and whenever I feel someone is enthusiastic about something, it gives me a lot of great energy and feelings, positive feelings, to connect and celebrate with them. So I don't, a lot of people are missing out because, or maybe, you know what, Josh, maybe it's just the people that are fans of some of these projects that I work on just happen to be the right kind of people. They're all sweet. They're all really caring. I mean, every now and then you see some viciousness that comes out, but with a little bit of communication and understanding, everything gets worked out.
I agree. That is a really good point.
Yeah. But I love it. I really enjoy it. I kind of sometimes get in trouble with my family. They're like, all right, get off of the phone, get off of, the Instagram or on Facebook or whatever, get off of YouTube. Come on, spend time with us. I'm like, okay. I love my family so much, Josh. I really do. But they know, like right now, they know that this is important to me to have this interview with you. So they're like, all right, well, go do that and then come back and hang out with us afterwards.
That's awesome. And you got a good family. So let's talk real quick. So Ezra, just tell us a little bit about yourself. So we know you've got family, you've got 2 kids.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about who is Ezra?
Oh, who is Ezra? Well,
we're gonna deep dive.
A deep dive, right? Who is Ezra? I've always been an entertainer, Josh. I'm the youngest one in my family. I'm the youngest one of my siblings, but I'm also the youngest cousin, the youngest nephew, the youngest grandchild. So it's like I fall into being like the overall baby everywhere. And I did receive a gracious amount of attention growing up, and I continue to, because people are always telling me, oh, Ezra, you'll always be the baby, no matter how old I get. So on one hand, I've never felt like that has been an insult. I've always enjoyed that level of affection and attention that I have received from my family. It's a tremendous gift. But I also have been like that. Let me entertain people. Let me, if mom and dad are upset, maybe I can make them feel better. If my brothers are upset, maybe I can just hang out and make them feel better. I had to be cool. I had to entertain them. I had to be funny. I had to be a little bit more mature than I was. So I've always been responsible. I think who is Ezra? Ezra's always been a little bit of a leader, and these are the words that I've received from teachers growing up and mentors. Like, you have really strong leadership qualities. Mm-hmm. And if I was not in the profession doing the things that I'm doing, I would have probably fallen into doing maybe some work like within the clergy as a rabbi or something. because I like to get in front of people. I like to be vulnerable, and I like to empower. I like to bring people together. And all that kind of stuff falls under the realm of, like, being a leader, and certainly in my community with my beliefs as being a rabbi. The only thing is I am in no way knowledgeable nor interested in learning more about the Bible. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, that's kind of if we're talking about subject matter, give me theater and I will devour it. I want to study more. If you want to, give me something, give me the human nature to study, right? How people work with one another, what we learn from being people. But I'm not interested in theology. I was not interested in law, like I wasn't interested even so much in history. But theater had always been a driving point for me. So who is Ezras? Ezra's always been like an actor. I'm someone who can't sit still working on a project. I need to use my body to do it, and I need to express it in a creative and entertaining way, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Now, so you've always been artistically inclined, we'll say.
Yeah.
When did it snap for you that you wanted to be an actor? Like, this is what you wanted to do?
I think it was freshman year of high school when I went to a real high school. A real high school meaning like it wasn't a small private Hebrew school. This was a big college preparatory secular school with lots of people and lots of different cultures all coming together. And I was sort of outspoken, and I definitely stuck out as someone who wasn't shy to meet friends and introduce myself. Embarrassing story, Josh. As freshman year, as a new student, I would go around, and I know that my name Ezra is kind of weird. It was not common then at all. So, and it's also a Hebrew name. So I didn't know if people would be like, what kind of nickname could I give myself that would be a little bit more secular, a little more bland. So I would go up and I'd be like, hi, my name is Ezra, but you can call me Easy, thinking my first two letters would work fine, not realizing that it would make me sound like I was easy. You know what I mean? So it was a really embarrassing way, kind of nerdy way to introduce myself to people until people were like, we'll just call you Ezra. That's just fine. Ezra's just fine.
That is a fantastic story.
Yeah. Hi, my name's Ezra. You can call me Easy. No, thank you. Anyway, it was when I got involved hosting freshman year for like the winter talent show. I was their host, and I just loved being in front of strangers and winning them over by my abilities to hold an audience, to connect with them, make them laugh, keep the program moving. So I really loved that MC vibe. And then I continued doing that with the spring production. I got involved in my very first one act with a script and a highlighter and writing down blocking and rehearsals. And I loved it. And it gave me so much energy, and it made me have these great friendships and relationships with the people I was rehearsing with. So it was really there my freshman year of high school. I kind of found it. Prior to that, Josh, I was always willing to perform in whatever little song festivals I had at my school or whatever little skits we would do for people. When I was in 5th grade, I had two of my best friends, one named David, the other one's named Matthew. And I wanted all of us to put together a song parody group, kind of like Weird Al Yankovic.
Yeah.
It was the music of this Jewish parody artist. His name is Alan Sherman. And if you're familiar with the very early animated versions of Cat in the Hat, the voice of the Cat in the Hat is voiced by the comedian and musical artist Alan Sherman. And I had some of his records, and they were spoofs of these very famous songs like Green Sleeves and the Mexican Hat Dance, and they were all really silly songs, and I loved them because they were funny and they were musical, and I wanted to do them as performances during lunch for the rest of the students. So I did. I went and I got T-shirts made with iron-on letters that said Kabubnesses, because it was the name of our group that I came up with. And the three of us, we would rehearse and sing, and then during lunchtime, we would perform for the students and the teachers, and they loved us. Obviously, what's not to love? We were stupid. So, so that was like the really first step out of initiating and directing and being creative and following through with the creative vision to actually produce something. That was the very, very start of it all, Josh. And I've never shared that story.
Oh, really?
I'm really glad that you asked that dive deep question. Who is Ezra? At his core, Ezra is that 5th grader who got excited to want to perform for other people and took the thing that he was, found funny and found entertaining and recreated it in the best way that he could and actually did it. And I've been doing that ever since.
That's awesome. Man, you're just sharing all the stories with us today.
I've been looking forward to our interview. What can I tell you?
Oh, me too, for sure. So, when did well, actually, let's just go into it. Like, how did you get into voice acting?
I got into voice acting right when I got out of college. I went to not university. I went to a college called California Institute of the Arts, and that's here in California where I live now. And I was very active in the theater department. And when I graduated, I stayed active with the other theater communities that spawned from that school, which was an outdoor Shakespeare festival. And they would also do other plays. And it was a free summer festival, for families that were in the area. Mm-hmm. And I was performing there. And it was a play, a very little-known play. It's called Bull Shot Crummond. And it basically takes place during World War I, and I was playing a German. And not only was I playing a German, but I did several other characters. And they all had very silly voices during the entire time. And I had to change from character to character many times. There were 5 actors, but we played something like 28 parts.
Oh, geez.
But in the audience was an audio producer for Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the Saban show. And afterwards, he came up to me because he was there with his family. He said, "Wow, you were really funny. I enjoyed your performance. You had some really great voices and such strength behind your voice. Would you like to come in and do some voices for Power Rangers?" And I said, yes. And that was the start of everything. Voice related, that was it. That was
so you and Bryce both kind of got your start with Power Rangers.
Well, yes. Bryce's father, Bob Pappenbrook of blessed memory, he was already working that angle. He was an established voiceover actor, and Bryce was a little boy, and whenever little boys' voices were needed, young boys, Bryce fit the bill because he was going to work with his dad, and his dad could coach him and tell him how to do things, and Bryce is so good, even at that young age, he was able to do it.
Nice, yeah, because I was looking at your credentials and everything, like your resume, and I was like, man, there's a lot of Power Rangers and like Beetleborgs and VR Troopers and everything. I was like, I grew up with these, and so I know I would have heard you before, but I just had no idea.
Yeah.
So I'm like, man, I know some of these episodes too.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's crazy, and I mean, I would do them, and then, I would never really even get to hear them or watch them because they would play at like 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock.
3 o'clock in the afternoon, yeah.
And I would still be at my work, and, we didn't have DVRs then, and I would try to use a cassette recorder, VHS, but, And then I'd be like, oh, wait, let me go and buy the the entire series so I could catch my episode and maybe put it on a demo reel or something. But yeah, I loved doing all that stuff. It was so creative and impromptu at times. Really, lots of fun.
Nice. So when did you start getting in? So wow, that was a whole bundle of words there.
Yep, you got them all. I think I know where you're going. So I was doing voiceover work solely for, I would say, something like 8 years or so, and just making my rounds by working at Bang Zoom and working with Saban and working at other smaller independent places and with independent projects at little studios. And I was doing that more and more. And then I found myself at this one particular studio that at the time was called Media Concepts. Media Concepts eventually changed its name to like Global Media Concepts and whatever. They just went through different names. But they would be taking different foreign movies and foreign series and anime series, and they would be doing the work that, like, Funimation does, Bang Zoom does, and I was an actor for them. They got this one project, Josh, and it's called Tequila and Benetti. And Tequila and Benetti was a show, not an old show, but it was a show that was done in Italy with an English an English soap opera star as the lead. He was Italian, and he got work in Italy, so he was doing it. Everyone else in the cast was Italian. And the premise was it was like a detective show, like Murder, She Wrote.
Okay.
And the detective, his name was Benetti, and his sidekick was a big St. Bernard dog called Tequila. And of course, the audience could hear Tequila because there was the voice of an actor who would voice Tequila, but nobody else could hear Tequila, not even his partner, Benetti. It was like Lassie, if Lassie was able to actually speak to the audience.
Okay.
Using words. So I was asked to direct that series, having had no experience whatsoever in voiceover directing. However, I was directing theater and improv shows and sketch comedy shows. I was performing in sketch comedy. I was performing improv. I was doing voiceover work. So, I was like, I don't know if I know how to direct a voiceover series. And the guy there said, yeah, no worries, don't worry, you'll figure it out. It's no piece of cake. It's so easy. You'll see. And he was just saying that to get me to say yes to the project. So I did say yes to the project, which of course I'm glad I did. It was very, 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 very stressful, and it was very, very difficult. And I did a very good job because it was mainly about how can Ezra manage the personalities of the cast. And that's what he really needed somebody there for. More than anything, he needed someone to manage the personalities of the cast so that they would continue to come and finish the work and finish through their contract. So I totally did it really well. They were very, very pleased with not only my performance, but the outcome of the project. And then they gave me another show, and that was anime related, and it was a show called Ultra Maniac. And then there was another anime show that I did there that was called Bottle Fairies. And there was another show that I did there called A Little Fairy Named Sugar. So, that's where I really started to make that transition from voiceover actor only to voiceover actor and voiceover director.
Huh. So I take it all of that work, like doing all the theater projects and everything, really helped you find your voice in what you were wanting to do directing-wise with these. Because it's a completely different setting, having people on stage working with, and then having people in the booth.
Yeah.
So was that a challenge for you from going from the stage to the booth?
It was not so much a challenge. It was just a matter of rearranging a little bit of how you are going to communicate to people. Because you can't tell people to do things physically for timing to get a joke. You had to tell people how they would be able to sell that performance with their voice, and of course the image that's there. And not just for comedy, for drama as well, for just the regular exposition scenes where we need to relay dialogue back and forth. You need to make sure you're getting the point across, moving the story forward. And it's all pretty much the same, but completely different. It is completely different. You're just dealing with, and by the way, when you're dealing with theater, you pretty much have people there working with you. If it's not the scene partner or all of the masses that are there in the play, if it's even a solo show When you're working on a solo show, there is an engagement between an energy between the director and the performer. And when we do voiceover work, we're already at a disadvantage. There's a big plexi wall of glass between us. They're in a soundproof booth. You have to sort of find a way to communicate, only sometimes in the headsets because maybe you can't even see them. You're in a different room. Or, like I had to do most recently, I was working with an actor that was all the way in Brazil, and I was on Skype. And I couldn't even see them at all because the camera was facing the video so I could see how lip sync would work.
Oh, man.
So you got to, figure out, put yourself in a place where you can connect most efficiently and productively. How can I connect to you, Josh, so that you know the adjustments that I want you to make with your performance? Because you start off with one take, and then I need you to realign it somehow. I need you to give me a different version, or I need you to come closer to the version I know it needs to be. And I don't want you to just copy me and say, do it like this. I have to sort of guide your performance towards that direction. I mean, it's kind of like what we're doing right here, right?
Yeah.
You and I are feeling a connection with each other just with our conversation. And it's different than if we would be able to see each other on our Skype cameras, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I like all ways of communicating. I wish I also was fluent in sign language, because that would just increase my abilities to connect and communicate with more people.
Yeah, I mean, I've only been in the booth one time, and that was to just do my demo. But I know I had Amber Lee Connors is the one who helped me with my demo,
right? And
she was giving me really good direction and everything like that. But that was just for one little demo. We didn't have to do lip flaps, any sort of other matching like that. So I can't even imagine what it's like in an actual recording type situation.
Right. Yeah, it's so much fun, Josh. I hope one day I get to direct you just so you can feel that give and take we would have, because I never ever want someone to feel when they're in the booth, I never want them to feel like they are frustrated or they're doing it incorrectly or they're lose self-esteem. It's always the opposite. I want everybody to feel like, their contribution matters, because it does. But a lot of people take that for granted. They're like, of course your contribution matters. Get in here and do your job and leave. It's like, no, your contribution matters. I appreciate you for what you've done. That was awesome. High fives and hugs, and I can't wait to work with you again and do that experience again with you.
That sounds awesome. That would be fantastic.
Yeah, I love to do the work that I do. Today I worked with two very, very young voiceover artists because I needed young voices for real. I have kids in this one show that I'm working on, and one, it was her very first time working, and she was so hyped up when it was done. Josh, she was like, "Wow, that was great." She didn't want to leave. She didn't want to get paid. She just wanted to keep staying there and doing it. You know what I mean? It was like, that is the excitement I want even the most experienced person to have. Obviously not to that level or newness, but to feel like, you know what? I do this job all day long in and out of different booths. But when I was with you, I felt like it was fun. It was different. It was, enjoyable. Because it is. It's fun for me to be in the position that I am in. And I think it's amazing to watch the other voiceover actors in the booth do what they do best.
Nice. So let's just kind of transition from there.
Yeah.
So you were just working on something today. Now you just finished up season 2 of a part 1 of a season 2 of something.
Yeah.
So I guess let's go ahead and go straight into Miraculous Ladybug season 2.
Let's talk about Miraculous. Let's do it.
So let's just go ahead and throw the spoiler warning out there, so that way if we spoil anything, everyone is fully prepared.
Yeah.
So let's just go straight into it.
That's right.
Why did you No, I'm just kidding. You didn't introduce anybody. So when you have to do, when they have to bring in a new character, say when they brought in Trix, Did you have anything to do with the casting? I know you were the voice director. Did you have any say with the casting director on who was going to play these new characters?
When it comes to the casting director in Miraculous Ladybug, I am that person. The only person who when we started working on Miraculous, they were casting, and they needed approval for the voices of Marinette Ladybug and Adrienne Cat Noir. We also needed to have approval of Hawkmoth. Mm-hmm. We also needed to have approval of Plag and Tiki. And then when we submitted all of those voices, because we got multiple people to send in auditions, and there were several rounds of auditions. We had so many different amazing voice actors that were auditioning for those parts that when they were listening to all of those, they said, "Oh, this is the perfect voice for Milen. This is the perfect voice for Nino. This is the perfect voice for Chloe. This is the perfect voice for Max. This is the perfect," you know what I mean? They just went all the way down the list, and all those people that auditioned from their auditions, they just got placed. Now, since then, since our first episode, I have been doing all of the additional casting. So in terms of all the new characters like Kagome and Luca and Trix, and then, there's some other characters that we have not met yet. And then there's some other characters that we have so far met, like the ice cream seller, or things like Nadia Shamak, the newscaster Nadia Shamak, who turned Prime Queen this season. Those were all cast by me.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Like, I didn't know that you would have that type of say in everything. Mm-hmm. That's pretty interesting.
Well,
they're giving you a lot of responsibility there.
Yes, I take it with great care, because I know that the Miraculars, all the fans of Miraculous Ladybug, I know that the Miraculars are scrutinizing over everything. And I knew this one character that has been so highly anticipated, character named Luca. I knew that everybody was so eager not only to see his beautiful character design, but they wanted to have a voice that would be sort of well suited to his appearance. And I knew that I wanted to have a young actor because he's a young character. And I also knew that I wanted to have Luca to have a singing voice because he's a musician. And if he ever needs to sing, because remember we had the Christmas episodes where we had some singing, I wanted to make sure that the actor would be able to sing. And with all of that criteria, I found through connections and going to different workshops and meeting with people, I found this very talented actor named Andrew Russell, and had worked with him on smaller projects. And then when this came around for Luca, I'm like, I think he'd be right. But what a lot of people don't realize about Andrew is he was also in the touring company of Jersey Boys. And I'm
really,
this guy is perfect. He's a musician and a singer, and he's a performer from the stage, and he's a very serious actor and a very good voiceover actor. So it was really nice to be able to put all of that together. And I feel like it was really good casting on my part. I feel like I did a nice job with that. But here's what I get. They give me the scripts that are completed, and then they give me the video. And then from there, they're like, send it to us now with the English voices in there. And then when we have a new character, I'm like, well, I got to get a new character. So I really do spend time and a lot of care to find the right voices for the casting.
Have you had to recast anybody?
Good question. Let me think real fast. There was one time I wanted to use this one voiceover actor who is near and dear to me. And I said, you know what? The next episode the next time I see a script, I'm sure I can put you in there. And then I saw the name of the character, and I said, you know what? You have this part. I'll call you in for it. And she was like, great. Well, then I saw the episode, Josh. and I saw what the character looked like, and I saw like the mood and the feeling behind it, and I'm like, this friend of mine who's, I'm telling you, like so skilled and has such incredible credits as a voiceover actor. I'm like, she's not the right match. And it would not serve the show right. So I had to call her and I had to say, I'm sorry, I told you, I promised that you would be in this next batch. I just don't think it's right for you. I'm going to have to cancel your session, because she was booked and ready to come in. And I called her on a Friday, and she was supposed to come in on our Monday morning. And I said, I'm sorry, but I'll have to find you another thing at another time. It's just not right. And she was so cool about it. Because she's like, I get it. Thanks so much. I said, I feel really terrible. She's like, can I just show up to the session anyway and make you feel real uncomfortable for firing me? I'm like, of course you can, and I'm so sorry, but I will find you something else, but it's got to be the right thing for you.
That's really cool that she understood.
Yeah.
Because, I was watching season 2, and I was thinking, I wonder if they got everybody to be in. Because I noticed that Todd Haberkorn came back, Mercer came back. It's like all these people that had done like, little bit roles in season 1. Well, I guess Todd was more of a role in season 1. Had done these roles in season 1, came back for season 2.
Yeah.
And so that's what got me thinking about this question. So I wrote it down when I was watching. I was like, I'm going to have to ask Ezra that on Tuesday.
Yeah, well, I will tell you, let's talk about Matt Mercer, who's amazing, obviously. Matt Mercer was working on another Zag animation project at the time where he was voicing one of the leads. The show is called Zack Storm, and it's also on Netflix. And he plays a character by the name of Golden Bones. And he's really very good. And he was in the booth, and we were working with him. And then we got Ladybug scripts come in. And then there was this character that just said photographer. That's it. Just said photographer. And I said, oh, you know what, Matt? You're here. Well, of course, we will obviously compensate you for a different session. But would you mind playing the part of the photographer while you're here? And he was like, okay, sure, that sounds fun. So he did the photographer part. And now the photographer keeps coming back every now and then. And I get to see, Matt come into the booth, and we're still waiting for maybe season 2 of Zack Storm, and we get to do more Golden Bones. But if anybody is listening and they have not seen Zack Storm, and they are fans of Miraculous Ladybug, I really encourage them taking a look at that series. It's so much fun.
You're giving me a lot of stuff to find now. So I've got Zack Storm, I've got Tequila and Benetti on here. I
don't know if you'll ever find Tequila and Benetti.
Oh, I'm going to try. I'm going to do my darndest to find this now.
Absolutely. I would suggest you watching a show called Ultramaniac. That one is super cute. It is an anime. It's super cute. And Yuri Lowenthal is in that one.
Sweet.
And I also encourage you, speaking of Yuri Lowenthal, to watch, if you haven't yet, an anime feature film called Paprika that I directed the English voices of.
Yeah, I've seen Paprika.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Everyone
that
movie.
Yeah, that is actually on our list for our anime series in May.
Oh.
So Paprika's on that list.
Fantastic.
Okay, so going back, let's stay with Miraculous. So I take it you're a fan as well as a director.
I think I am more of a fan of the fandom. I obviously love the show, but the fandom is on a whole new level, and I cannot compete.
Yeah, it is a ridiculous fandom, and I try and, doing what I do pretty much every day for this podcast, looking at new stuff, and there's a huge fandom for, shows like Starverse, Forces of Evil, and Steven Universe, but the Miraculous fandom is ridiculous.
It's amazing.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's so good. It is so good. The talent out there, Josh, with the fan art and the edits,
and
cosplayers and the videos, it's just so amazing to be a part of and to watch. I am very much a fan of the fandom. I love the show, but I love to celebrate the show with the fans, which is one of the reasons I love to go to conventions and to host panels for anything Miraculous related. It's just so fun to be in that giant hug.
Did you have a favorite episode that you directed this year? That was like, this was the episode that was really fun to do. It was crazy. Everybody was clicking. This was your favorite episode to direct this year.
I tell you, this season 2 has been so much stronger in terms of what we can do with the characters and building their relationships closer together. I think, the level of closeness that we see the love square with, Adrian and Marinette and Cat Noir and Ladybug, where they actually like dance and hug. I think it's the Collector, where there's a party and they dance at the end, and you see Marinette rest her cheek on Adrian's shoulder. When I saw that, I'm like, the fandom is going to flip out. They are and that's really what makes me most excited, is when I get to see something and I know, oh no, it's called Despair Bear, right?
Yeah, it's Despair Bear.
Despair Bear, right? Thank you. When they are going to see something and they flip out about it, or like when I don't remember what the pairing is, but it's in Prime Queen when they're in the subway and they sort of, hug on to each other. I'm like, oh my gosh, they're gonna flip out. The interviews on that, on the early part of the episode where Prime Queen is trying to get her ratings up there, and they're talking about, are they a couple? Are they not a thing? I'm like, oh, they're gonna freak out. So, I love those episodes. But my favorite one so far in season 2 is one I cannot speak about because it has not been released.
Gotcha.
But the second favorite that I can speak about is the Andre the ice cream the ice cream matchmaker. I thought that was so clever how they put together the those little ice cream concoctions. And I think, you know what? Honestly, Josh, I think that came from like the fans making different Cat Noir Ladybug themed beverages and milkshakes and, ice creams. I think it was directly from the fandom.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it. There's a lot of these things, because I'm gonna go ahead and admit it. I read a lot of that fan fiction because I'm really a 14-year-old.
Yep. So
inside, at least. So like I read a lot of those fan fictions, and just watching this season, I was like, there's a lot of stuff in here.
Yeah.
That like whenever Cat Noir visits Marinette on her balcony, that is in almost every single fan fiction.
Yep.
And it didn't happen in season 1, happened in season 2, and I was like, I gotcha.
Yep.
I see what you did there. I get it.
Not only that, I mean, you talk about the balcony scene, and then people are going crazy for the umbrella.
Yeah.
Those are very, very popular in the fan fiction. So remember how I said that there was this one role and it was labeled photographer, and I just wanted Matt Mercer to do it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, when we were doing, I think it was the episode Prime Queen, or it was in that first batch of 3 that we got. So it could have been Despair Bear, or it could have been Prime Queen. I'm not really sure which one it was, but there was a character, and it just simply said vendor. So, and I saw that I know which one it was. It was the one with Marinette's aunt that comes to visit.
Oh, yeah.
Or whatever.
Shoot.
What is the name of that one? I'll tell you in a second. It is... Oh...
Yeah, I'm trying to get my internet going.
Yeah.
I'm trying to pull things up.
It's Befana, but I don't know the name that she turns into. That's probably the name of that episode.
Yeah, the name of the episode is Befana.
It is?
Let me see.
Okay, so
yeah.
Befana, great. Yes, when the grandma comes to visit. And then there was an ice cream vendor there, right? And that was the first time we ever saw the ice cream vendor. It just said vendor, and it was just one line. And I said, I'm going to go in there and I'll just do that one line. We don't have to call in a whole nother actor for it because it's just this one line. Let me just go in there and I'll do it. Which is essentially how I also started to voice the role of Adrian's bodyguard, the gorilla. Because he doesn't have any lines, but he needed to make...
He also doesn't have a name.
He goes by Gorilla.
I know. It's
Right?
sad, though. He should have a real name.
Yep, he should have a real name. It's probably something like Serge or something, right? He looks very, like, sort of Slavic. Big Sergio. Anyway, so I went in there and I did that one line for the vendor with an Italian accent, to give him a lot of heft and... joy and, oh, hello, have an ice cream, that kind of thing, right? And then we get the next batch, and then I find out that the vendor is actually the character that got Akuma Ties, and not only that, but he has a song to sing. And I was like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? And so that was a challenging episode, and that was super duper fun to do. One of my favorites for sure. Because we had to work on the song. The song itself took almost 2 hours.
Really?
Yeah, because we had to translate it a little bit, and then we had to put the words in the right meter so that we could sing the translation, and then we had to find lip sync for it, and then, then we had to stop and rewrite things to rewrite rhymes. It was a lot of work just for that song. And I hope that the fans like it. I hope it turned out okay.
Oh yeah, it was one of those where I had seen, it had been spoiled on Tumblr for ages. But like going and watching it and just seeing Andre and all these little just randomly throughout the season.
Yeah.
I thought that was a really good payoff. Like they introduce him barely kind of like as a background character, and then he leads up to him being Akuma Ties, which doesn't really happen unless you're part of, like, the class. That's, I think, the only other time that happens.
Well, we have some weirder characters that are around town. You know who I'm waiting to get akumatized is Alex. No, Alec. Alec, the TV show host, the bald TV show host.
Oh, yeah.
He's not been akumatized yet.
Yeah, we did me and my friend Hannah, we did an episode, like a full spoiler episode where we broke down every episode.
Oh, fun.
And at the end of it...
Where's that? Where would we find that? I want to listen to that episode.
That is on our... I think part of it's unlocked. We had a little bit of a skippage issue with our internet, so I think like half of it's on unlocked, so you can actually see us. Or if you want to listen to the whole thing, it's on our iTunes, Stitcher, Podbean, our website, animationstationpodcast.com. All of it's everywhere. So on basically anywhere that you can, download a podcast, if you search Animation Station Podcast, it's our last episode.
Awesome. All right. I know a lot of people that will want to hear that episode and probably download it from Animation Station Podcast.
Yes.
Okay. Got
but yeah, we were talking about who hasn't been akumatized yet. Like of the characters that we see pretty much every episode, who's not there? And the only ones we thought of was there was the one teacher whose name I can't think of.
Mendeleev?
Yeah, and then there was Madame Bustier, which that kind of got spoiled for us about Madame Bustier. And then we were like, who else is out there? But yeah, I completely forgot about the TV show host.
Yep, TV show host, Alec. And
then the Dupen Changs and
yep,
I guess Natalie.
Natalie has not been right.
Still
Natalie
good.
Has not. That's a good point. And
Mayor Bourgeois.
We haven't seen if Marinette or if Adrian would get akumatized, and I know that.
Yeah, that would be interesting
in the fan fiction.
Has Mayor Bourgeois been? Has he been akumatized?
Mayor Bourgeois has not been akumatized.
Okay, so he's another one.
He has not, although the waiter has, and that turned into Despair Bear. That was crazy.
That was a great episode.
Oh my gosh.
I think I said that was probably my favorite this year.
That one was to see him inside the bear. It had like a steampunky quality to it. I loved it.
Yeah. And yeah, it was overall, like, we both thoroughly, like, we enjoyed last season, but we thoroughly enjoyed this season because it feels like they got an increase of budget.
Yeah.
So everything looked a lot smoother.
Yeah.
There was a lot more texturing and shadows. The hair still looked phenomenal.
Yep.
And that was a big thing that we talked about
animation.
before. So I mean, yeah, I've so far, like, from what we've had, so part 1 of season 2 that's come out, voice acting top notch.
Awesome.
So you guys have been knocking it out of the park.
We've got some great new voices and characters for you to hear. So I'm definitely excited about it. Because every episode, essentially, almost every episode, there's some new character. Like, even if it's, okay, well, there's the character Sarah, who was the manager. We have not had Jagged Stone get akumatized. We haven't had Penny get akumatized. We haven't seen the alligator get akumatized.
Jagged got akumatized.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
He was a guitar villain.
Guitar villain, you're right, my bad. But we haven't seen Penny get akumatized.
This is true, yeah. So, yeah, there's still a lot of people.
Well, not a lot, but there's a small
Luca.
handful.
Luca will be next.
Luca will be next.
Next.
I hope not.
Oh, but just think of how cool his outfit will be.
Yeah.
His hair will be even cooler looking.
What do you think about Luca, and what is your feelings on the fandom's response to Luca?
Oh my gosh, Tumblr is ridiculous. It is full of Luca. It's all LucaNet or whatever they're calling it now.
Mm-hmm. I don't have Tumblr, so I don't even know how to look into
don't
that.
go down there. It's a slippery slope.
Yeah.
Well, you don't want to get bombarded.
There are two things, Josh, I have not gone down. I haven't gone down the Tumblr, and the other one, I stepped into Amino for a second, and I had to jump out immediately. I got overwhelmed.
Yeah, the social media world is, and like I said earlier, the Miraculous fandom is intense.
Yep, they love Luca, and I'm so happy they do. I'm happy they do because the fandom that the majority of the fandom that I connect with, they are listening to it in English. So if they're loving Luca and they're loving the way he sounds and how he feels, as well as how he looks, obviously, it feels like, it's a nice collaboration of it all. But honestly, it all comes down to that Zag animation, which is so beautiful.
Yeah. Now, so going back to your question, like, how do I feel about Luca? Luca's great. He's a cool character. He needs to stay away from Marinette.
Yeah.
But as a character, yeah, he's fine. I like that he's, Julica's brother and everything like that. I like how they have matching hair.
Yeah. Do you think that Luca is into Marinette, or do you think Marinette was into Luca?
Oh man, we talked about this on our episode.
Then we'll listen. I'll download it.
Oh no, I mean it's fine. Yeah, it's one of those. I think there's, mutual, because when she talks to other guys, like I've noticed, like when she has to talk to other guys, Christina does a really good job of, like, where she stutters and everything like that, trips over her words. But I mean, when she talks to other guys, she doesn't do that. It only happens when she's talking to Adrian and now to Luca.
Yeah.
So I think there's a little bit of something there.
Yep. I think there might be a little something there. She looked like she got a little flush in the cheeks.
She did.
Yeah.
But Alia turned traitor. She's been shipping Adrian and Marinette this whole time.
Yep.
Then she's like, "Oh, what do you think about Luca?" And it's like, "Girl, stop."
Whoa. Yep. Come on, Alia. What if Chloe jumps in and all of a sudden takes Luca away?
I don't think Chloe will do that. I think she's only got eyes for Adrian.
I think you're right. Fair enough.
She's got those Adrian eyes.
She sure does. Adrikins.
So, do you have any sort of? So, I mean, as the voice director, you do have your inputs. Do you, if you want somebody to do something like a high pitch like that, like an Adrikins, or if somebody needs to say something a certain way, do you coach them a lot in how to do that, or do you let them kind of, do like a free will type thing? Say, hey, this is what I want to happen, and then go, or do you coach them on exactly how you want it to go?
I do a little bit of both. So all of the magic that you hear, the things that stick, like Adrikins and stuff like that, those are all things that come from the actors. That's all inspired and magic. That all belongs to them. sometimes I'll say, here's something that I have in mind, but then I'll say, you guys do something different with it now. Now that I got to hear my version that I was curious about, you guys take it away. Let me hear what you want to do with it. And by far, those are always so much better because it's invested in their creativity. So, they feel that there's more of a connection to it, and it becomes their own signature. It's like an athlete doing a dunk or having a bat flip, or it's like that's what I do when I do my best. So it's almost always belongs to the actor as a signature for the way they make their character sound.
Kind of going away from Miraculous now.
Okay.
So what would be your dream project? So everybody comes over. Disney, Netflix, Marvel. Well, I guess it's the same thing.
You're right.
Nickelodeon, any Cartoon Network, all these places, they come over to you. You have free range to do, whatever you want. What is your dream project? It could be something brand new. You could redo something. What is it Ezra wants to do?
Wow, it's a really, really deep question. I would like to do more original animation because that is even closer to the world of theater, even more so than the way that I'm working now with voiceover actors in a dubbing situation. So when we did Zack Storm, we would do that as original animation where we were just recording. Are you still there?
Oh yeah.
Okay, great. Where we were just recording the dialogue. I think I would want to do. I'm really very curious to get involved in more of that motion capture work, because I the work that Andy Serkis does with Planet of the Apes and Lord of the Rings, I love that. I love puppetry and animation, and I love putting theater together with all of those things. So, the kind of work that I would be more drawn to is not all the... I'm not interested in superhero movies like ever. Like, nothing Marvel attracts me. And Star Wars I like okay, but I'm not like one of the crazy passionate Star Wars fans. I like it fine.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's not like I want to be a part of any big franchise and then like add to it. I think I'd rather be a part of something new and watch it develop and grow and gain success. Kind of like, things I've been doing with Zag Animation. That has been so rewarding and satisfying, and I would like to keep on taking projects like that, and hopefully, gaining more success, and that providing even more opportunities.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Now, do you have anything upcoming that you're allowed to talk about?
Yeah, I have. There's a show that's coming out on Netflix. It's for a mature audience. It is the second season of a very well-received show called 3%.
Oh, nice.
3% is a dystopian series, and it is intense. It's very intense. The music is intense. The characters are great. It is it's like a Hunger Games type of a thing, where you got to pass a series of tests to move on, show your worth and merit. And season 2 is going to be coming out on April 27th. So if anybody watches 3% on Netflix now, then they won't have to wait very long like they did with Ladybug for season 2 to come out. And I'm right now, tomorrow is my last day of recording 3% season 2.
And is it Brazilian? I know it's like what's the What's the country of origin for 3%?
It's from Brazil.
It's Brazil, okay.
It's in Portuguese. You can watch it, of course, in English, or you can watch it, in the Portuguese original language with the subtitles. I recommend watching either one. The show is that good. If you like to feel the tense pressure, if you like lots and lots of plot twists, if you like looking at really good-looking people, this is a great series. I'm very, very proud to be a part of it. And I'm really proud of the work that everybody has done on it. In fact, you'll recognize some voices from other shows in there. I think you'll be able to pick up Hawkmoth is probably in there with Keith Silverstein.
Oh, nice.
I definitely had Christina V in there, who's the voice of Ladybug. She's playing a character. Not a big one. She plays a supporting character, but you'll be able to hear her for sure. And then there is a new project that I cannot speak about. It is original animation, and I'll be working on that next month, and I'm really excited.
Awesome.
But next week, I go back into the studio and I record 3 more episodes of Miraculous Ladybug Part 2 of Season 2.
Sweet.
Yeah.
That's awesome. But I definitely say watch 3% for sure. I've only seen like the first 2 episodes, but it was very much like to me, I got a lot of like you said, like a Hunger Games, but also like the Island and Logan's Run type vibe from it.
Very much Logan's Run. Josh, you are so on point with that. Yes, the Island as well, because the Island is, that utopia. And of course...
It's Logan's Run light, that Island.
It's very Logan's Run light. It's like, here, it's time for carousel, and you die.
Oh, man. So, this was super fun, Ezra. Now, first off, we kind of didn't kind of skipped over it. You have a YouTube channel where you do a lot of interviews with your voice actors.
I do, and I also just do a bunch of silliness there too. Even if it's just with my nephew, whose name is Jay. So our channel is called Ezra, half of my name, half of his name. It's better than just calling me Easy.
Nah, you could be the Easy Ezra Show.
The Easy Ezra Show.
Yes.
And yeah,
second channel.
We've got like 100 videos there. A lot of our videos that we've done there have segued over to the Miraculous Ladybug YouTube channel, where we have all of our fan art videos, and where Jay and I open up some of the merchandise and play with the toys with some unboxing videos. Mm-hmm. And just recently I did a couple of videos that were introducing Andrew Russell, who voices Luca, and Erica Harlicker, who's doing a mystery voice yet to be seen, so you don't know who she is yet. And the fandom is just going nuts trying to guess who they think she is.
Nice.
I don't want to say anything about it, like if they're right or if they're wrong, because it will just give them, more fodder to jump in there and, spread rumors around that are just completely false. So whenever anybody comes up and theorizes about stuff, I stay silent.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's the best way to do it.
Yeah.
So Ezra, where can everybody find you on social media?
My number one most frequented app is Instagram, and I love it, and I would love for everyone to jump on and follow me on my crazy days and adventures, not only in the booth, but with my family, and also on my running adventures, because I love to run. And my Instagram name is my name. It's EzraWeisz. And then, of course, the other place I encourage people to connect with me would be on Ezra, the YouTube channel you just spoke about. And that YouTube channel is EZRAY. And I think by now we should be the #1 search when you type in Ezra in YouTube.
Nice.
And that is, I don't spend much time anywhere else. A little bit on Twitter, and if people are very Twitter friendly, my handle there is @WarmUpGuy, because I do a lot of audience warm-up as well.
Nice. And we'll put all of those links in our show notes, so all you have to do is, pull up the show notes, you can click on those, and it'll take you directly to Ezra.
Awesome. Please come to me.
And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram @Josh L. Kane. You can find the podcast on Instagram @Animation Station Podcast, on Twitter @Animate Podcast, on Facebook, Vero, Tumblr, all the other stuff @Animation Station Podcast. You can find all of our episodes on iTunes, Stitcher, Podbean, or on our website, animationstationpodcast.com. Ezra, this was super fun. And we'll definitely have you on again, because we didn't talk about Be the Beginning. And that is a show that had me from start to finish. and I definitely got to talk to somebody about it.
Oh gosh, I cannot wait. Thank you so much, Josh. I look forward to that.
Perfect. All right. So for the Animation Station podcast, I'm Josh.
I'm Ezra.
Excellent. I'm glad you caught on to it. Bye-bye, little butterfly.
Bye-bye, little butterfly. Miraculous Ladybug!